Welcome race fans back to Prime Time Racing TV. Here with Northeast Racers Great American Modified Tour. In the booth tonight, Corey Silva and I, Brandon Krutz. Corey, how you doing tonight?
Great, Brandon. How are you?
I'm doing good. Ready for some more racing action here with Northeast Racers tonight at Lanier.
We are here for the Air Movement Fabrications 100 here at the Lanier Speedway. We are in qualifying now, and looks like we have David Greenslet on the provisional pole thus far with a 12.793. Very quick laps around this very short racetrack.
Absolutely. Yeah, these are really quick laps here, Corey. These cars able to put down a little bit of power and lots of grip through the corners with these things.
That is true, and with the first night race that we've had this season, it's been overcast conditions the last two, so hopefully that should give these guys the grip they need to hopefully run a nice, clean, aggressive race.
Absolutely, and fairly high-banked racetrack here tonight, Corey, so these guys able to really get the power down, but a lot of these guys seeming to get loose under practice on exit.
Yeah, perhaps it could be the tires, perhaps the track is just that cold that they just cannot get the heat in the tires quite yet, or it could be a matter of setups, but you can already see from the views we already have that the groove is already pretty rubbered in, so these guys really have that low groove already pretty well worked in.
Absolutely. And seeing qualifying, a couple guys are actually getting into the wall here, so maybe not as loose as we thought.
See Zach Olney on the track right now. I think he actually just finished up his lap. Trying to see if anybody is still out running any live laps right now. Looks like we have Kyle Bingham, Bump and Run Bingham here in the 77. We see him on track right now. He has yet to turn a lap, so his first lap will be at the line this time by a 13.183, only good enough for 13th position. So he'll come off turn 4 this time by for the second lap of his run, and
bumps him up a little bit, Corey.
Yeah, 12.928, enough to get on to the top 10 there. As you can see here on Prime Time, we have our new qualifying graphics here, so we can show the live times as they appear. James Curl, who won race number 1 of our, actually, I'm sorry, what race did he win, Brandon? Forgive me, I'm already forgetting here.
That's a good question.
We raced at
Irwindale.
We raced at Irwindale last week, and we raced somewhere else before that. And
Five Flags, Corey.
Yes, and he absolutely dominated there. Oh my God, that's age for you right there. So there are, let's see, I see 3 drivers have yet to turn a time thus far in this session. Graham Narcombe. Actually, who else is there? Hasn't turned a time?
Well, let's see.
Has everybody? And I'm just completely dyslexic. It could be one of the two.
It
looks like everybody has turn time. So there you go. Don't listen to me. I swear I know what I'm talking about. So, based on that, it looks like our lineup is going to be pretty well set. And unless someone hops in magically, it looks like James Curl is going to be your pole sitter here today with a 12.724.
Not bad lap times here tonight, Corey.
No, and tight times. David Greenslet, if you remember him last week, or was it last week? It wasn't last week. David Greenslet, yes, at Irwindale. David Greenslet, if you remember, he had the fastest car, but it was very difficult to pass at Irwindale, being a top line only track, and he couldn't quite make the move. But we are at Lanier now, and that top line is not going to be what it was last week. You're going to be right around the bottom here, more traditional style racing. So perhaps the bumper or just getting a run-off exit down the back straightaway, but passing should be a little easier here, Brandon. Do you agree?
I do agree, and this likely will turn into a 2-groove racetrack, Corey. A lot of guys able to not necessarily pass, but at least defend position on that outside line.
All right, so we are gridding up here, so let's get you our Primetime TV starting lineup here from the Lanier Speedway. Starting on the pole with a 12.72 is James Curl, David Greenslet to the outside. Brad Carpenter in third, Byron Bartlett in fourth, Matthew Kimball starting in fifth, Rodney Huntoon starting in 6th. Kyle Bingham, bump and run Bingham in 7th. Brian Town in 8th. Ricky Nadeau firing off in the 9th position. Cody LeBlanc in 10th. Brandon.
Starting 11th is Evan Black, 12th Kyle Willits, 13th Zach Only, 14th Grant Markham, 15th Ronald Narkham, and rounding out the field is David Elliott.
Yeah, a smaller field here than we've had the first couple weeks, but still a good-sized field nonetheless.
Absolutely, Corey. These guys always put on a show for us, or at least the past 3 weeks that we've been broadcasting for these guys, and excited to see what they can do here tonight at Lanier.
So as we fire off here, let's quickly go over our point standings we have after 2 races. David Greenslet is the points leader with 88 points. Ricky Nadeau is 18 back in 2nd. Rodney Huntoon, Kyle Bingham, and Matthew Kimball, 3rd through 5th, all tied, 20 points behind with 68. So David Greenslet, he pretty much just has to have a clean race and he'll come out of this with the points lead, but it's short track racing. There is no such thing as a guaranteed clean race. So
absolutely, Corey. So these guys gonna get ready to fire off here. Working their way down the stretch right now. So his car pulling in, green flag already in the air. There his eyes are off.
James Curl with the clean restart, completely gets clear of the battle for 2nd place, and we do have the battle for 2nd place. Looks like who is it there? David Greenslet is stuck on the outside.
Yeah, coming into the corner now, Corey. These guys almost made contact down there. 20 on the outside, and he tucks in behind.
Was that a little bit of bumper to the 50 car? Was it? We're almost 3 wide entering turn 1 here.
Plenty of racing room here tonight, Corey. A very wide racetrack, but you just do not want to get stuck too far outside. Last thing you want is to get stuck in 3 wide situation.
David Greenslet looks like he will take the 2nd position, but in that side-by-side battle, James Curl is out to 1.6 seconds on these guys, so already a clear-cut advantage for the 51 car.
That 50 car right now stuck on that outside line.
Whoa.
And 07 drifts up into him and gets hit again.
Bumping, banging bumper cars here at the Lanier Speedway. Guys fighting for room. There's little of it, but these guys are trying to take it. So now that's going to put the 07 car, Byron Bartlett, back to the 7th position. Matthew Kimball is, after that, still only in the 5th position, so he didn't have too much negativity from that.
They're still side by side behind them, Corey. These guys fighting all the way through the pack. Oh, Evan Black, the 8 car, takes evasive action.
Evan Black is on the outside. He is battling with the 59 car of Zach Olney, and still side by side as they enter turns 1 and 2. Evan Black has about 4 positions on the inside line, so he may get freight trained here and take it back to the back of this field.
He's holding strong on the outside, but his tires won't last long if he keeps running that hard out there, Corey.
And we have another battle up here, the 07 car battling with, I believe, to be Brian Town here. That is for the 7th and 8th position. Actually, excuse me, that's with Cody LeBlanc for the 8th and 9th position.
So a lot of racing through the pack right now, Corey. As we said, there could be a lot of side-by-side here tonight, and that's exactly what we're seeing right now early in the race.
That's what happened. But as we go back to the front, if you notice, James Curl is out here in his own zip code. He is 2.3 seconds up, but we're only 12 laps into this race. That is an insane interval already.
I think he got a little bit of help from these guys being side by side, but he's still pulling away from the front half of this pack. And caution,
first caution.
in the air. It's going to be the 43 car of David Elliott.
Backwards on the front straightaway. Let's go back here on Primetime TV Instant Replay and see if we can figure out what happened here. As we see, we're coming through. Oh, it looks like just off of I think it's turn 2 there. Just complete self-spin.
Part of what I was talking about earlier in pre-race, Corey. A lot of these guys in practice getting loose off the corners. Seems to be holding consistent every week so far.
Yeah, sometimes just it's just amazing. Sometimes just the littlest thing, you could be by yourself, just maybe get a little bit of focus off because you don't really think you have any kind of battle going, and that could just be the one little thing that throws you off there.
Absolutely.
While we're under caution, we would like to thank the official partner of today's race, Air Movement Fabrications, Nottingham's choice for ventilation, custom signs, custom designs, repair, and all things metal. Visit them online at airmovefabs.co.uk and check them out on Facebook. Air Movement Fabrications Limited, an official partner of Primetime Racing TV.
And what a great partner they are, Corey. Absolutely.
So again, just to remind you guys of the pit lane situation with the league that we are involved in. Each driver is allowed one set of tires, 4 individual tires that they have to be able to change throughout this race. So they can come in at any time and change 1, 2, 3, 4 tires, but they only have that one set to change throughout the race. So just keep that strategy in mind. We don't know how tire fall off is going to be, so that will affect obviously the strategy.
Yeah, absolutely. Huge strategy has been played the past couple weeks here between 2 tires, 4 tires, track position. You know, the choices, you know, essentially some really hard choices to make when it comes down to that strategy.
All right, so the pace car coming through 3 and 4 here, coming off of turn 4 and right on the green flag is out, right on the loud pedal. James Curl. Not as big of a lead there. David Greensley got a really good start, and see if he can actually make something with him now that he doesn't have that huge advantage now.
Defending for the 2nd position, the 77 right on Greensley's tail. Looks like he's going to do a good job defending now, but behind him, the 77's got company.
77 does. Matthew Kimball's trying to take a look here on Bump and Run Bingham, but looks like he's not going to do anything that time by. They're going to stay freight trained here, single file, but James Curl is pulling away. And cautions on the speedway.
Flag is in the air once again, Corey.
And that looks to be Rodney Huntoon in the 0-1 car, so we will bust out primetime replay and see what's going on with Mr. Huntoon here. Looks like off of turn 4 here. So it's going to take us back here off of turn 2. Oh, actually, no, off turn 4 there. Lanier is a very hard track to tell where you are. Looks like he just got loose there off 4 into the inside wall. May have made a little bit of contact with somebody else in the making.
I think the 07 actually pushed him into the corner, Corey.
Let's see if we can go back a little further.
It looks like, from what I'm looking at, Corey,
yeah, I can see that as well.
He got pushed into the corner, and he ended up collecting the 31.
Yeah, he didn't get loose. He forcibly got loose, if you will. So
yeah,
it's one way to have it happen to you. But I could see here on our graphic now, on our caution flag graphic, you can actually get a live update each caution of how many laps we have run. So we've already run 8 laps of caution in 24 laps, and if my math's correct, that's 33% of this race.
glad you can do that math, because I wouldn't be able to.
I'll save the insult. But anyways, we are on lap 24 of this race. James Curl is your leader right now, and he has led all 23, soon to be 24 of them. So it looks like he did miss last week's race due to personal circumstance. Obviously, real life does happen. But it seems the races he is in, he seemed to be the class of the field. Would you say so?
Yeah, absolutely. Hard driver to beat out here in this league, it seems, Corey. Every week he just has so much speed in his race car. He's really just hard to catch.
So we'll just have to see. I mean, obviously things change over the course of tire wear and long runs and such if we get that, but it looks like it's going to have to be a strategy call to get by him, as we're 25% of the way through this race on lap 26 now. I'm going to have to say it's going to be a strategy call. I don't see anybody beating him on pace, but we will see this time by.
Yep, getting ready for the green flag. Pace car pulls off. These guys are on the gas. Green flag in the air. They stack up behind him.
Yeah, a lot of checkup there back in the field, a lot of bumping and banging, but everyone stays point forward there, so we're going to continue cleanly here. As we have, we're following in the back here. We have the 78 car Grand Narcum underneath Cody LeBlanc here. That's for the 8th and 9th position. That settles out.
Most of these guys single file, but they're taking the defensive line all the way around here, Corey. They do not want anyone to get underneath them.
So you get underneath it, the way it's been going off, you are pretty much going to lose 5-6 positions if you get stuck there on that high line. It's not quite worked in enough yet to run. As we can see from the blimp cam here, you can really see how short the straightaways are. It's almost one continuous circle that they're running here at Lanier.
Yeah, absolutely. Very wide sweeping corners, short straightaways, Corey, and it definitely brings its own challenges.
So one thing I've always wanted to bust out, we are going to bust out the Primetime TV battle graphics, so we can actually get a live update of the battle for first and second here and relative lap time. So you can see each time by the lap time between first and second. So this time by James Curl, he ran a 13.02, and we have a battle going on for second here, so we have to wait for someone to get in this second, and we'll get a lap time for them. James Curl with a 13.05. David Greenslet, unfortunately I don't have it, so we'll turn that graphic off. Hopefully it'll work later. But the reason it's not working is because they have a pretty good battle going on for second right now. Oh, actually, David Greenslet looks like he's having some connection issues here. That would explain why it's not working. Oh.
Yeah, absolutely, it would.
So we will bust that later on today, but looks like David Greenslet has settled in with his connection and his position, so he's now holding 1.5 seconds behind James Curl.
Yeah, James Curl just rocket ship out in front of this field right now, Corey. Unbelievably fast race car that he's got right now. Just able to hold the bottom all the way around and get huge runs off the corners.
And I want to up in chat here, George Gibbs. Thank you for the subscription. We appreciate that very much here on Prime Time.
Yeah, these guys, Corey, get really racy out here. You know, around mid-pack, you really don't see too much single file at this racetrack. Around the mid-pack zone, especially off of these restarts.
Yeah, it looks like while we have a lot of single file spread out, there are some good battles. Evan Black here, he's back in the 10th position, but he is all over Graham Narcum here as he's trying to get into the 9th position now. Let's go on board with him quickly and see how he's doing with this battle. See here, coming off of turn 2, I believe. Like I said earlier, you never get straight here at Lanier. By the time you get the car straight, you're already turning into for the next turn. So it's really almost a Oxford Plain style, complete circular racetrack.
Yeah, absolutely. And like I mentioned before, Corey, in pre-race, fairly high banked racetrack as well. So it does really bring its unique challenges.
And there are different ways to approach it. You can kind of go with the higher entry and then try to get that straight cut off, or you could just try to hold the bottom the entire time, or eventually the second lane does work, but I'm not sure if we'll get it worked in time for this race, but it could later on.
Yeah, unfortunately, Corey, in real life, we're lucky to have this track in the iRacing simulation service, Corey, but in real life now, this track is nothing more than a skid pad for drifters, and you know, unfortunate to see it go. Sorry
to cut you off there, but we have James Curl hitting lap traffic here as he is trying to lap, I believe it to be Zach Olney in the 59 is now a lap down, and David Elliott is next on the list for James Curl.
Elliott not trying to go a lap down right now. He's fighting back, or at least what he could do, Corey, and he now ends up a lap down.
So the gap, even having to make those passes, the gap is now over 2 seconds. So let's once again try to bring up our prime time battle graphic here. So we'll see this time by, where are we on track right now? Are we off turn 4? Is this time by James Curl with a 13.13. David Greenslet a 13.27, so a tenth and a half faster was the 51 that time by.
Yeah, and we already hit the halfway point in this race, Corey. Leader just crossed the line.
Yep, and then again, 13.1 to a 13.25, so another about tenth and a half faster every single lap is that 51 car. 13.09 to a 13.25, so yeah, James Curl, he has the afterburners on, and he's just, like, again, out to town here. 2.5 second lead on a 12-second lap track. You can imagine how big of a lead that is in retrospect.
Yeah, absolutely. Just incredible, Corey, and like I said before, he's got a rocket ship underneath him.
One thing we didn't talk about today was the weather. 75 degrees here at nighttime at Lanier, which is a 75-degree track temp with overcast skies. So really, you can't really ask for any more grip than these guys have on the table right now. Yes, summary of our top 5. James Curl, obviously our leader. David Greenslet second, Kyle Bingham in third, Matthew Kimball in fourth, Brian Town the top 5. Top 5 separated by 5 seconds, which is at Lanier almost half a lap.
Yeah, so these guys are pretty spread out right now, Corey, after that last restart. So I wouldn't expect to see too many more cautions from here, and this race just taking off right now.
Yes, we'll be over with this race in almost maybe less than 10 minutes of this race. Evan Black next on the chopping block for James Curl here as we enter turn 2. Down the back straightaway, 2 cars in front. Evan Black and Byron Bartlett, both on the chopping block right now. Evan Black looks like he's just gonna give away the position, knows I have nothing to fight, so why even bother getting in the way?
Evan Black actually got really loose off that corner.
And I'm gonna cut back to position number 2, battle for the, position number 3, excuse me. Matthew Kimball on the inside of Kyle Bingham off of turn 4. Looks like Matthew Kimball is gonna move into the 3rd position. And then right behind him, excuse me, is Brian Town. So 3rd, 4th, and 5th are all under a blanket here.
I was just gonna bring that up, Corey. Yeah, these guys really close racing right now. Just as I was talking about them being spread out, these guys caught up to one another.
Yeah, so we looks like lap traffic is going to be an effect for all of the battles here right now, not just for the leaders. So everybody on the track is going to have to deal with lap traffic, regardless of what position it's for. So regardless if the battle's for 3rd or if it's for 7th, you may have someone in the way if you get in that next position.
Yeah, absolutely. Essentially a circle or a vortex of... there really is no open area on the racetrack anymore.
Yep, as you said, the vortex probably the best analogy for that. We are just a continuous loop of cars, and James Curl, as you can see on the ticker here, is out to a 5-second lead, which again, that is almost half a lap, which is, I just can't fathom that.
Yeah, that's incredible, Corey. And I don't know who or where or if he builds his own setups, but you know, every week he races here, he is just super fast.
Fast is not the word. He is just, I mean, he might need to check the engine on that in post-race inspection because he's just, there's just something going on. Let's just go back here and try to see, let's get a lap time comparison again, see what he's doing. 13.08. 13.1 to a 13.3, 0.2 of a second faster. Actually, that lap only a half-tenth, So even passing cars, even lapping cars, he's still gaining.
Yeah, just unbelievable, Corey. And as much as we talk about him in this broadcast tonight, you know, it still blows my mind.
I mean, I understand. It's sometimes, as a broadcaster, you don't just want to focus on the leader all the time, but when the leader's putting on this much of a show and this much of a clinic, I mean, it's kind of, you have to give them the credit they deserve for that.
Yeah, absolutely. I completely agree with that one.
Let's go back here and focus on some other battles going on. We have, looks like Brian Town is only about 0.2 behind Kyle Bingham here. That is for the 5th position. We have 7 cars currently on the lead lap. Ricky Nadeau is only about maybe a corner ahead of James Curl, and he'll be the next to lap down.
Yeah, Corey, 7 of the 16 cars that started this race on the lead lap right now, as you said, most of these cars went a lap down just from, you know, being a lap down to your current leader. Absolutely incredible the amount of cars that he had put 1 lap down.
Yeah, and it's not even a matter of incidents with many of these drivers. It's just a matter of this pure pace. I mean, they just, if you're a 2/10 back on a track this small, I mean, that's going to add up, and you're going to go a lap down a lot sooner than on any other track, just due to the short nature of this track.
Absolutely. Yeah, like we mentioned before, this track has its unique characteristics. I'd say that's definitely one of them. So this race has been fairly clean, other than some minor bumping and beating. Corey, your thoughts so far?
I'm still absolutely astonished with what James Curl's doing here up front, just putting on an absolute clip. But we kind of focus on the second position for a little bit, because looks like Matthew Kimball is closing in a little bit on, on the number 20 car, David Greenslet.
Yeah, slowly but surely, Court. And, 77 almost went around there as he clipped the apron. That was a close call for bumper run big.
And it looks like he has the 18 of Brian Town on his bumper because of that, and they're going to be side by side as we exit turn 2. I'm sorry, I had to think about that. There's really no distinguishing on this track what turn you're in.
Well, coming down the front straightaway now, 77 got run up the racetrack, or ran himself up the racetrack, and now lost that position.
As we kind of focus on the battle for second position, that looks to be shaping up as David Greenslet is in heavy traffic now. He's trying to get under the 07 car, Byron Bartlett right now. He has Graham Narcombe next on his hit list, but in doing so, Matthew Kimball is closing and will be there in a matter of laps at this point.
Well, unfortunately, he's right there right now, Corey, but just because he's there doesn't mean he has a way around.
That is true, and it looks like they are finally clear of that traffic now, so it looks like it's just going to be 16 laps to see if that second position does indeed change.
The other question, Corey, is with all these cars close together now and with all the lap traffic, could we see another caution?
We could, but I'm not going to bank on that personally. I think this is going to play out naturally, but I've been wrong before.
Yeah, it's always hard to tell with these things. You know, especially the leaders kind of, you know, spread out from the last restart. All the lap cars, you know, kind of giving way at this point. They've already been lapped once. So, you know, you got a good point there.
So as we bring up our battle graphic one more time, we can see this time by a 22 for Kimball, a 16 for Greenslet. So Greenslet does have that little bit of position more on Kimball. So at that rate, I don't think we're going to have a battle for second position, but there's still 11 laps to play for.
All it takes is one slip up, Corey, and you know, that could definitely change the looks of that position.
As we go back up front to Mr. Dominance here, James Curl puts another lap down on Evan Black. Evan Black is 2 laps down. English, Corey.
So your leader just hit 10 laps to go, Corey. Now coming to 9 laps to go. This race coming to a quick halt.
Yes, and he is 7.3 seconds ahead. Now let's just take that into effect. 7.3 seconds ahead on a track that is 12 seconds around, and it's only 100 laps. We've really only been racing, what, about 25 minutes we've been racing for?
Yeah, about that. Put that in perspective, folks. We went live with these guys as they were qualifying at about 7:30 Eastern. It is now just about hitting 8 o'clock. So, yeah, that's quick.
In 25 minutes, he's pulled away to 7 seconds. But as we go back to position number 2, that is the battle to worry about right now. Kimball is right there. Whoa, sideways! Kimball sideways off of turn 2. Oh, 4, excuse me. He's backwards. Are we going to get a caution? Yes, we are.
in the air as the leader just hit 5 to go. This may be the end of it, Corey.
This is gonna be close. We may be over. We might get a one-lap shootout. I am leaning towards a one-lap shootout, but we'll have to see. Even in a one-lap shootout, does anybody have anything for James Curl? I don't personally think so, but let's just see if we even do go green. We're just getting the pace car this time by, so we probably will not, as I think about it one more time, but we have to confirm it. Let's go back here. A little bit late now on this, but let's see if we can go back and see Kyle Bingham there off of turn 4. Forgive me for not knowing what turns it, which on this track. It really is hard to tell. I'm sorry, that was Matthew Kimball. That wasn't Kyle Bingham. We missed it, but we did kind of see it live there. He just got loose off of turn 4 completely by himself trying to make that move, so we have to look at the pace car, and there are lights on the pace car, so that this race will end under caution, because even if we get 2 to go this time by, we will not get green in time. So James Curl is looking to be your winner here today. Not looking to be, will be, as long as he can complete 2 more laps of caution. He will have led.
I don't expect anything to happen. That's
I don't, unless he Jimmy Johnson's and runs out of fuel here on the last lap, which again shouldn't happen. James Curl will have led every single one of the 100 laps here at the Lanier Speedway.
Absolutely, a quick 100 laps too, Corey. That race went by really quick.
Yeah, I was ready for more action than that. I want some more, but again, these guys, they only had a couple cautions today. It was a relatively short race in distance, and James Curl's pace just made it even go that much faster. So as we go through 3 and 4, it looks like Greenslit is kind of give him a little bump tap, just saying congrats there. And we're going to come off turn 4, and James Curl with his 2nd win of the season, leading all 100 laps here at the Lanier Speedway.
Yeah, the green and checker, it's coming out together, Corey, and your winner goes to the 51 of James Curl.
We'll just wait for the quick rundown here and let everyone cross the line. It is a short track, so it takes a little while to cross the line here. Get you our primetime TV results, and then we'll get you some interviews in a moment or two.
These guys lining up for the podium picture here at the start-finish line.
And
not after a little celebration.
In your grid here today, James Curl leading all 100 laps is your winner. David Greenslit in 2nd, Brian Town in 3rd, Kyle Bingham in 4th, Cody LeBlanc in 5th, Ricky Nadeau in 6th, Matthew Kimball after that spin down to 7th, Kyle Willis in 8th, Graham Narcom in 9th, and Byron Bartlett in 10th. Brandon.
David Elliott 11th, 12th, Zach Only 13th, Evan Black 14th, Rodney Huntu 15th, Ronald Narcom, and rounding up the field in 15th is Brad Carpenter.
Something I didn't do last week. We will turn off the music. We will go to a quick commercial here on Primetime, and we'll be back with your top 3 and post-race interviews. Welcome back to Primetime TV, and we are going to grab from third, second, and then first in that order. So that will be Brian Town. Let's grab him into the booth with us.
Brian Town, you got a copy.
Brian Town, you got a copy. Primetime TV here.
Yeah, I hear you loud and clear.
Well, Brian, you ended up with a third place finish tonight. How'd your car feel out there tonight?
It was good on the shorter runs. Long run, it got a little snug. But me and Kyle Bingham had a good swapping back and forth, third and fourth. Probably wouldn't have had third if Kimball didn't spin there at the end, but it was a good run overall.
Well, we saw some guys self-spin off the exit of the corners there. What was your car feeling like out there? What was the handling like?
I was actually on the tighter side, so I didn't have to worry about spinning. I could kind of map the throttle whenever I wanted. Biggest challenge, I think, was lap tires.
Yeah, well, no one really got a chance to pit for tires or anything tonight. Of course, it was a fairly short race, but did you have any plans to save tires at all, or what were you thinking for that?
Well, at first, starting on the outside, I couldn't really take them easy. Once I got the inside, then I kind of paced myself a little bit. But when I started getting pressure from behind, I started to push on it. Didn't really save a whole lot of tires that race, but it seemed to work out pretty good.
All right. Well, Brian, is there anyone that you'd like to thank tonight?
Got to thank the owners of the league, Dave Greenset, everyone that put this whole deal together. Fun race with these guys. Look forward to do it every week from now on.
All right, Brian. Well, awesome, and congratulations on your podium finish.
Thanks.
All right, and now let's bring in David Greenslet. David Greenslet, you got a copy.
Yeah, how you guys doing tonight?
Good, good. So yeah, I know your nickname's Rowdy, and it looks like you're finishing second a lot. So I gotta take the real life reference from that. So we see you have a second place finish today. What did that 51 have that you didn't? Because he just was absolute lights out today.
Yeah, I don't know. He must put the super soak on the tires before he went out here.
Yeah, so
But yeah, I mean, I had a decent car. I wasn't quite there with where James was, but I mean, I was happy with what I had. We lapped, I think, all the way to fifth place in the field, and it was it was kind of we put a hurting on the field.
Did you we only saw about 3 cautions, a lot of green runs, nobody really up front got to change tires at all. Was that something that you were strategizing in the race, pre-race, kind of what you wanted to do with tires, and then never got to actually do it?
Yeah, me and James had talked about it. We were gonna plan on pitting around lap 40, 45, somewhere in there if we had a caution, but when we got to like lap 60, we decided we weren't gonna do any caution. We weren't gonna pit or anything at that point, so.
And then we saw right at the end there, it looked like the 50 at Kimball, he was right on you, and it looks like he had something for you. Were you worried about that?
I was watching him. I couldn't quite get him there. I at one point he tucked under me, take it 3 wide, and I knew that wouldn't work. So luckily he backed out of it. I mean, he's a smart racer. He races these things in real life and whatnot. So. But I really got to thank Oval Technologies, Tyler Severa, Roger Severa, James Curl, OJ, Robert, Dan, everybody. They help us out a lot. We do a lot of work together on getting these setups, and it shows with the 1-2 finish again for us.
All right, 10-4. Looks like you already did your thing. So just congrats on your second, and hopefully one of these weeks we'll talk to you on the top of the podium for a change.
Yeah, I mean we're trying to stay consistent for the top of the points there. So
10-4, brother. Congrats.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, so let's bring your winner in for tonight, James Curl. James, you got a copy?
I do.
Well, you had a rocket ship of a car tonight against all of these other competitors. How did it feel out there tonight?
We felt really, really good. just like you said, it was a rocket ship. I mean, it handled perfectly up until maybe with 6 or 7 laps to go. I started getting a little loose on entry, but other than that, I mean, we're on a rail. Can't thank Oval Technologies, Roger, Tyler, OJ, Dan, David, Robert, O'Neill, everybody who helps work on these setups to get us out here and staying up front. That's a third of a second for David, and out of my 2 races, I've got 2 firsts. So we're doing really, really good.
Well, I asked everyone else this, so I'm going to ask you as well. Going into this race, did you have any plans to conserve tires, and how did that plan change throughout this race with not many yellows?
Oh yeah, definitely. My plan was definitely to take tires around maybe halfway. I mean, that's kind of where you would break it up, and we're at lap 50. We had a few cautions early on. I think I had two or three, and then for sure we had 2. Um, and I was contemplating pitting really early, but I thought that maybe it wouldn't be wise to pit so early and maybe run out of tires. But as we had that long, like 70 lap run, I kind of got to the point in lap 60. I told David, we're just not going to pit even if the caution comes out, because it's not worth it when the cautions breed cautions, and you pit with 30 to go and then you never get back up front. So we kind of changed the plan midway through just to stay out even if the caution did come out.
All right. Well, do you have anyone that you'd like to thank tonight?
Just the guys at Oil Technologies, like I said earlier, Roger, Tyler, Dan, David, Robert O'Neill, and OJ Dontiara. Just really good group of guys that we can race with all the time and work on these setups to keep us up front.
All right, James, awesome, and congratulations on your victory tonight.
Thank you.
All right, so that's your podium here on Prime Time. So let's just go down your finishing order one more time before we call it a night here on Prime Time. Again, leading all 100 laps is the 51 of James Curl. Second, David Greenslet yet again. Brian Town in third. Kyle Bingham in fourth. Cody LeBlanc in fifth. Ricky Nadeau in sixth. Matthew Kimball is seventh. Kyle Wilson eighth. Graham Narcom in ninth. And rounding out the top 10 here at Lanier is Byron Bartlett. Brandon.
So finishing 11th is David Elliott, 12th Zach Onley, 13th Evan Black, 14th Rodney Huntoon, 15th Ronald Narcom, and rounding out the field in 16th is Brad Carpenter. So, ladies and gentlemen, just want to give a quick shout out once again to our sponsor, our partner, Air Movement Fabrications. Air Movement Fabrications, Nottingham's choice for ventilation, custom signs, custom designs, repair, and all things metal. Visit them online at airmovefabs.co.uk and find them on Facebook. Air Movement Fabrications, an official partner with Primetime Racing TV.
Again, thanks to them, thanks to Brandon, thanks to all these guys here at the Northeast Racers, and thanks to you guys for watching here on Prime Time. If you haven't already, please like and subscribe. Come watch us every Monday here for the Northeast Racers. I'm Corey Silva.
And I'm Brandon Krutz.
And have a great night, guys. We'll catch you next week.